मैडम स्टार्ट करिवे।
Okay. All have joined. ଆମର ପ୍ରମୋଦ sir ଆସିଗଲେଣି?
हाँ हाँ प्रमोद सर आसीगले।
Namaskar and good evening to all of you. My voice is audible, Devasis?
Yes ma'am, you are audible. You are audible.
Namaskar to all of you. On behalf of the philosophy family, I extend a hearty welcome to all of you to the fifth season of our webinar program. During the lockdown period, when we were frustrated, insecure, and uncertain, Philosophy family came up with a package to cater the needs of our students, teachers, and lovers of philosophy. So far, Philosophy family organized around 100 webinars. Day by day, the members of this family are increasing. In this platform of Philosophy family, we are digitally connected with people across India. I welcome all the members of the organizing committee, members of the technical committee, moderator of today's program, Sri Devasis Sarangi, Assistant Professor, Ellen Mahavidyalaya Baleshwar, and our learned audience. Today we have with us two wonderful resource persons. They are Sri Pramod Kumar Das and Dr. Kailash Chandra Maharana, the producer and the director of the philosophy family. Both of them will speak on Sri Aurobindo philosophy. I feel privileged to introduce both of them. The speaker of the first session is Sri Pramod Kumar Das, who actually needs no introduction at all. As a student, as a teacher, and as a scholar, he is simply excellent. He is famous for his philosophic extempo, his dedication for the cause of philosophy, his academic credentials, and his intellectual inclinations are no doubt praiseworthy. He is the founder of another intellectual forum named Wisdom Forum, which has many chapters in Odisha. He has more than 20 years of teaching experience. Presently, he is working as head of the Department of Philosophy, Noyagad Autonomous College, Noyagad, Odisha. He is going to speak on the topic the concept of mind in the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. With this, I welcome you, sir, to address the audience. Pramod Kumar Das, sir, please.
Namaskar to all of you. Am I audible?
Yes sir, you are audible.
Achha. Respected Kalyani Madam, my dear Devasis, and all esteemed members of the philosophy family and esteemed participants of this session. So far as we have discussed during the last sessions, about Satchitananda, about world, Maya and reality, and about the process of involution and evolution. When we are discussing all these things about Sri Aurobindo's philosophy, the question comes, who will understand this? Who will understand the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo? Answer will come that man will understand the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo, or the philosophy of Sankaracharya, or the philosophy of Ramanuja. Naturally, this answer will come. Does man have that status to understand the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo? When we are discussing about Satchitananda, when we are discussing about involution and evolution, the process of ascent and descent, have we reached that stage? Are we endued with that consciousness to understand this? The second alternative is, if we do not understand, then we are just reading, we are trying to understand. The person who has understood it, it is his understanding, it is his realization. We say Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. We just say, we do not realize it. When we say the absolute descends down to the mundane world, we just say, we don't realize it. Because we are all human beings. And what is the status of a man? Where man does exist? In the process of evolution, where is the point of human existence that man can understand the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo, the process of ascent and descent, evolution and involution? Man has body, mind, and consciousness. So far as our body is concerned, we are all right. We have a better body than animals. So far as our mind is concerned, we are not all right. We are not all right. So far as consciousness is concerned, we are imperfect. We do not have, presently we do not have that state of consciousness to understand, to realize the true nature of consciousness. Therefore, Aurobindo says, the man that you see, I am saying it in my language, I don't quote him. The man that you see is not the real man. Suppose I saw a man. Is he the real man? Man in the true sense of the term? If all men are same, then what is the difference between Swami Vivekananda? Swami Vivekananda is also a man. And a villager, a layman, is also a man. Are they same? But we call all human beings as man. He is a man, she is a man, that fellow is a man, this fellow is a man. My friend is a man, my father is a man, my teachers are men. But do they have the equal status? If human beings are different, they belong to different layers of consciousness. So the man that we see is not the real man. Symbolically, if we say who is a man, we can at least say that in the process of evolution, the position of a mind, when a mind comes in the process of evolution, we can say that that is the status of a man. That man has a better mind. And what is the function of a human mind? What is the best function of a human mind? What can be done by the best use of human mind? Immanuel Kant said, by the best use of human mind and by the best use of your sense organs, you can see, you can know only the phenomena. For the knowledge of a phenomena, for the knowledge of the reality as such, human mind is not qualified. This is the status of mind. That means mind divides, mind analyzes, mind makes division, mind uses reason, mind operates by following the laws of thought. If this is the status of mind, then by this mind, we cannot realize, we cannot understand the supermind, Satchidananda, the higher hemisphere. We can't. This is common sense. And in Western philosophy, if we will go through the history of philosophy, and the best example is Immanuel Kant, that mind functions through categories of understanding. Beyond the categories of understanding, mind cannot function. Therefore, mind cannot access to the reality as such. Mind is acquainted with the appearance. There are 4 theories of existence in history of philosophy. It is also discussed in Sri Aurobindo's philosophy. One is the supercosmic existence that speaks of the existence of the absolute. Only the absolute exists. This is one speculation. This is one philosophy. Advaita Vedanta. The absolute is the only truth. The world is appearance, Maya, illusion. Another theory of existence is cosmic existence. Cosmic existence means the only cosmos is real, only the world is real. Absolute is not real, only the cosmos is real, world is real. The existence of a world is guaranteed. There is no guarantee of the existence of anything absolute. We may say Charbak. Another theory of existence is supracosmic existence, which says that both the absolute and the cosmos are real, are existent. The absolute exists, and also the cosmos exists. Dualistic system, we may say Sankhya. But Aurobindo speaks of integral existence, where there is no other, where the truth is all inclusive, where everything includes everything. There is no exclusion. Matter is not the exclusion of spirit. Spirit is not the exclusion of matter. Everything includes everything, and everything can be explained by everything. Nothing is left out. Purna, Purna. It is integralism, integral existence. The absolute and the cosmos both exist, being integral to each other. One is not separated from other. Nothing has a separate existence, though it appears to be so. But now the question is, who will understand this integral philosophy of Sri Aurobindo? Therefore, every man should be a real man, a true man. True man means having pure consciousness. We are conscious of the reality as per our capacity. If I only belong a mind which is interpretative by nature, so it will just interpret. It will interpret, it will speculate, it will describe, it will assimilate, it will analyze, it will criticize, it will conclude. But by that, we cannot understand the higher reality. So, therefore, Aurobindo speaks of truth. Aurobindo speaks of truth consciousness. What is truth? Truth is Satchitananda. Truth is Satchitananda. I will not go to that, because Satchitananda is the highest realm, the truth, because that is the common factor in everything. Existence is the common factor in everything. Consciousness force is the common factor in everything. And bliss or ananda is the common factor in everything. We experience existence from the growth of something. Growth and decay. If we cannot understand what is pure existence, then how can we understand existence in the cosmos, in the practical world? Now something is growing and decaying, so from that we understand that that something has existence. And it is supported by a principle of existence. Similarly, consciousness. If we fail to understand what is pure consciousness, then at least we can understand that I have ignorance, I have confusion, and I have little knowledge. That proves that there is a principle of consciousness, because I can see the opposite manifestation of it. Then how can we say that there is bliss or ananda? Because there is despair, there is disappointment, there is unhappiness, and there is also happiness. We experience that. So from the experience of our practical life, we can assure that these three things, principles, existence, consciousness, and bliss, are the common factors in everything. And that is truth. Second, if something is true, one should be conscious of that truth. If something is truth, one should be conscious of that truth. That is supermind. Truth consciousness. Supermind is truth consciousness. Then what is the position of a man? Man is neither Sachidananda nor supermind. Because I have a body mind, I find myself, always I find myself as a layman with a body and mind. Mind cannot have truth consciousness. Mind is always engaged in contradictions, contrary facts, assimilation, dualism, subject predicate dichotomy, truth and falsity, right and wrong, good and bad. This dichotomy is available in mind. That is not truth. So mind, that the mind that I possess now cannot know the truth. That can only a supermind do. Supermind itself is truth consciousness. And truth is Sachidananda. Here is the difference between Immanuel Kant and Sri Aurobindo. Western philosophers stop their journey at the level of common function of human mind, that mind function through reason, mind function through categories of understanding. They stop there. They claim that this is the capacity of a mind. And beyond the assessment of mind, if there is anything that is unknown and unknowable, this problem is solved by Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo also agrees with the declaration of Western philosophers, especially Immanuel Kant, that yes, it is true that mind cannot know the reality as such. But a higher mind can do this. But an illumined mind can do this. But an intuitive mind can do this. But an overmind can do this. But a supermind can do this. Western philosophers do not have that access. They are ignorant of the different functions of dynamism of human mind. They have condemned man as a psychophysical organism, that man has a body like animals and man has a mind, just a better mind than animals. Therefore, phenomena is known and noumena is unknown. But Indian culture is something different. Indian culture is rooted in the Upanishadic wisdom. Here we give emphasis on the nature, function, and dynamics of a human mind. And the nature of a mind determines the nature of a man, the status of a man, the personality. Mind is not only a psychic entity. Mind is also a spiritual entity. Mind is also an integral entity. So who will understand? Who will understand Sri Aurobindo's philosophy? The man with a better mind, with a perfect mind, with an integral mind, can understand the philosophy of a supermind. A supermind can understand supermind. It's common sense. Do we have that possibility? Yes. In India, yes. In Western countries, no. Is it experienced? Yes. Our philosophers, our seers have experienced it. Now I shall give my own interpretation to understand this, that how can we understand the process of ascent and descent? How can we understand the cosmic ascent and descent? Because we are part of the cosmos. Being a part, how can we assess the whole cosmic play, cosmic lila? Here, we have to study, we have to observe the function of our mind. Now forget cosmos. Now forget Satchidananda. Now forget world. Now forget reality. Forget everything. What is my possession? What do I have? I have a mind. Whatever I have, I shall start from that. Yes, I have at least a mind. I don't have a super mind, but I have a mind. Now I shall experience how my mind descends down to the lower spheres, to matter or body, to life, to psyche. Is it possible? Can we experience that? Very simple. Observe your mind. Does it descend down to the lower reality or not? Descend down. I shall give an example. There are three gunas with us: sattva, raja, and tama. Sattva guna is treated as the best guna. But what raja guna can do, sattva guna can't. But what tama guna can do, sattva guna can't. So when raja guna is necessary, our sattvic mind must, not should, must descend down to that sphere. Otherwise, rajasika productions will not be possible. Suppose you are a married person, if you will do namo and japo in the temple after your marriage life, you cannot produce a child. You are a sattvic person, that's all right. But at a particular point, you have to develop your rajasic mind. You have to plunge into, descend down to that level. But you are not that. But you have to do that. Suppose you need sleep. You need sleep. You need sound sleep. That may be tamasika. But if you will be engaged in temple whole night, then your body will perish. You will suffer from many diseases. So your sattvic mind will descend down to the tamasic mind. Suppose you want to get angry. Sometimes anger is necessary. That may be tamasic, but that is necessary. When a mother feeds the child, the mother becomes the child. Otherwise, the child will not take food. If mother will appear as a mother before the child will not take food. A mother has to become a child. She will speak in the language of the child. She will act like a child. She will dance. She will tell stories. She will behave like a child. Then only child will think that she is my friend and she will take food. The child will take food. But by that, the mother is not the child, but mother becomes the child. Suppose now I am speaking about the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. I am discussing the concept of a mind. Now I am talking to the learned audience. But suppose this topic I have to teach a +2 student or to a class 7 student. Then I have to descend down to the understanding of that student. Otherwise, the student cannot understand. Suppose I am a teacher in a classroom. When I am in my family, I have to become a family member. I become a husband before my wife. I become a father before my child. I know that I am soul, I am Paramatma, I am a teacher, but I have to become many. I play different roles. If I understand this, that at least with a mind, I can descend down to the lower spheres of existence and consciousness, then the same thing, because it is integral, no activity is foreign, separate, the same thing happens in cosmos. The absolute descends down to the lower hemispheres up to the point of matter. If you go below the matter, that is nescience. Similarly, we can ascend to the higher spheres. The normal mind can become a higher mind. The higher mind can become an illumined mind. The illumined mind can become an intuitive mind. An intuitive mind can become over mind. And the over mind can become super mind. This is possible. And this has been experienced. This is not speculation. The philosophy of Aurobindo is not speculation. Therefore, Aurobindo is not a philosopher. A philosopher may speculate, but a yogi, the man of experience, whatever he speaks, He speaks from his experience, from his living experience. Now we understand where we stand. We stand, we exist with our perishable body and with a logical mind, which knows some logic, some techniques, and somehow we think something. And out of that thinking, we have created science, philosophy, religion, technology. Everything has been created by this limited mind. The contribution is not so less. The contribution is not to be ignored. Human mind has great contribution, though it is limited. But Sri Aurobindo is not satisfied with that. Sri Aurobindo is not satisfied with the existing science, philosophy, religion, technology. The Sri Aurobindo is interested in the realization of the truth, which this mind can't. Therefore, we have to culture our mind, discipline our mind to ascend into the highly evolved mind. In the process of evolution, we should be highly evolved. Highly evolved means we are always passing through imperfection to perfection, imperfection to perfection. Very honestly, Sri Aurobindo speaks of ignorance. No other philosophy, no other philosopher has highlighted ignorance in all details. First of all, Sri Aurobindo says that every ignorance is filled with knowledge. And every mind is ignorant because it is in the order of evolution, it belongs to a ladder. So in comparison to the higher ladder, the lower ladder is ignorant. So we are all ignorant because there is a higher mind. If we reach at the higher mind, then that there also we are ignorant because there is an illumined mind. So in this process, we just pass from imperfect knowledge to perfect knowledge. And when we shall reach at the Gnostic being, that only is free from ignorance. So what is the higher mind? If this is the mind that has created philosophy, religion, science, technology, what not, then what is the need of higher mind? Now, mind has created everything. Science, philosophy, religion, and technology. But mind has not studied mind itself. That is the problem with mind. Mind has created everything. But till now, mind has not observed the very function of our thinking or our mind. So the higher mind is the observing mind. That Sri Aurobindo says, the parent, spiritual parent of mind. As parents observe the activities of children without the knowledge of children, similarly, the higher mind is that mind that silently observes the functions of mind. It is very difficult. We are always engaged in thinking. We never observe the thinking mind, what we think. We never observe the thinking mind. So mind should observe the activities of mind. This is the status. This is not possible by science, philosophy, religion, technology. This is yoga sadhana. You have to, if you have to follow rigorous spiritual discipline, then only the same man who had possessed a simple mind, a common mind, a normal mind, can possess a higher mind, an observing mind, observing consciousness. In Vedanta, we say that man is self-conscious. What is the meaning of self-conscious? That I am conscious that I am conscious. I am conscious, it is understood. But I am conscious that I am conscious. Animals are conscious, but they are not conscious that they are conscious. When we will start observing our mind, the functions of mind, the activities of mind, in our practical life, many of our mental activities will be disciplined. Suppose I am getting angry. My anger starts at a point, but I have an observing mind. That observing mind will observe that the lower mind is now getting angry. Then he will stop it. Suppose now I have some excitement for something, and the observing mind observes it, then it will check it. But that is not sufficient. The higher mind still thinks. The higher mind still thinks. So far as mind is engaged with thinking, it is always found in dualities. The truth is thought, and the truth is vision. Truth is thought is one status. Truth is vision is another status. In the next step, what is the status of illumined mind? Here truth is visible. Truth is not thought. Truth is seen by us. Therefore, in Indian culture, in Indian tradition, seers have been given more important than thinkers. Sri Aurobindo is a seer, not a thinker. So far as thinking is concerned, there will be contradiction. There shall be counter-thinking. Illumined mind will give the spiritual light. Through that spiritual light, you can perceive the truth. This is also explained in Naya system. In Naya perception, that there is not, perception is not only possible by the contact between sense organ and object. The mind interferes. Without the contact of the mind, sense organs cannot function. And as the mind, so is your perception. Similarly, here the illumined mind directly visualize the truths, the vision of truths. Illumined mind. Then comes intuition. In intuition, there is a direct contact between consciousness of the subject, my consciousness, with the consciousness of the object of knowledge. Whatever I see, I do not see the object. I am directly connected with the consciousness. Subjective consciousness is directly connected with the objective consciousness. This is another level of consciousness or the function of human mind. But all these mind, higher mind, illumined mind, and intuitive mind, they all belong to individual consciousness. That is the development of the individual mind. I have disciplined my mind from mind to higher mind, then to illumined mind, then to intuitive mind. But my mind is not cosmic. My mind becomes cosmic. Cosmic means it is not only vertically evolved, it is evolved in horizontally. It has been expanded, cosmic. It has been more expanded. It becomes more inclusive. That is overmind. Overmind is the cosmic mind. The individual mind becomes the cosmic mind. And when the mind becomes cosmic, I am skipping because I am not going to details because my time is very short. It's already 6:55. I have to speak only 10 minutes more. Then the individual mind becomes the cosmic mind. And the cosmic mind is very much nearer to the supermind, which is truth consciousness. That means mind needs to be qualified to be conscious of the truth. The mind, as discussed in Immanuel Kant, is not of this mind. Therefore, Immanuel Kant said, truth is unknown and unknowable. To know the truth, to experience the truth, our common mind should be transformed into the cosmic mind. Here, epistemology and ontology are related. The psychic entity becomes the entity of the cosmic entity. Here we are close to integralism. If there will be a division between psychic and ontology, then there cannot be integralism. Here the individual mind becomes the cosmic mind. It expands in all directions, in height, in width, and in depth. If I shall give examples, it will take so many times. Just one example I am saying. A dog is sleeping. A dog has slept on the road. All are perceiving it. But perceptions are different. One says that dog is sleeping. Another person will say the dog is sleeping with hunger. That dog is hungry. But there is no symptoms. The dog is simply sleeping. But that person who has that experience, he can see that this sleep is due to hunger. This sleep is not due to tiredness. Here, the individual mind becomes identified with the cosmos. One can be identified with the plants, trees, nature. The mind becomes cosmic. And that mind is very much near to supermind. Supermind, what is supermind? I had told you that is truth consciousness. When even the cosmic mind is limited. because it focuses to the cosmos. It is focused with the cosmos. It is also limitation. That is not the truth. The cosmos is not the total truth. But it is nearer to the supermind. That is truth. Truth means the totality. Cosmos is not the totality. Cosmos is the manifestation of the absolute. Then comes the supermind or the truth consciousness. This is the highest perfection, perfect mind. Supermind, that is truth consciousness. And the supermind has three functions. One is Karana Avastha, the causal state. The other is Karya Avastha. And the third one is the Purna Vyakta Avastha. Purna Vyakta Avastha. If we shall compare it, then we can take the philosophy of Spinoza. Substance, attribute, and the modes. But there is a difference. In Spinoza, substance, attributes, and the modes. Modes can be explained by substance. Attributes can be explained by substance. But substance cannot be explained by modes. But here, the Karana Avastha, Karya Avastha, and Purna Vyakta Avastha, each can explain the other. The same mind can understand the Karya, Karana, that the unmanifest, then Karya, the manifest, and both Karya and Karana. Supermind, this is the status of a supermind. The mind that understands the cause, effect, and their integrality, that is truth. That becomes Sachidananda. That is not the other than, or not other than Sachidananda. Then this mind that I possess is not other than Sachidananda. Aham Brahmasmi. Your mind is not other than the status of Sachidananda. Tattvamasi. I shall speak one thing from my side. It comes to my mind now. You see, if human thoughts are understood by animals, there are so many experiments that human thoughts are understood by animals, then who are more rational? We have reason, we have logic, we have a rational mind, we claim, but our rational thinking, our thoughts are understood by animals in many respects. They may not do mathematics. Also, animals do mathematics. When a cat crosses the road and there is an auto rickshaw coming, the cat will cross the road according to the speed of the auto rickshaw. In which speed the cat will cross the road. This is mathematics. They don't fail to count their kids. They never fail. 2, 3, 4. Leave it. If human thoughts are understood by animals, then human thoughts are not the assets of human beings. Thoughts are common. That means this universe is the universe of consciousness. Thought is not human property. Rationality is not the property of human beings. It is our speculation. If rationality is our personal asset, it can't be understood by any other species. But we communicate with animals. We communicate with plants. How is it possible? Because there is a cosmic consciousness which descends down in man, in plants, in animals, in everything. So, man not only possesses a very dull mind, a very casual, rational mind, a mathematical mind, a logical mind. Man possesses a spiritual mind, an integral mind. Therefore, man is a privileged animal. There are three types of transformation in human beings, according to Sri Aurobindo. One is the psychic transformation. The other is spiritual transformation. And the third one is the integral transformation. When the integral transformation is done by, I shall speak only 2 minutes more. When the integral transformation is already cultured by man, that man becomes a Gnostic being, where there is no veil of ignorance. And that man can live a divine life. Supramental consciousness or supramental transformation is not the last point of perfection. Divine life suggests that if you have become divine, if you have transformed, then it is your duty that you should let others to be transformed. That is divine life. Be divine and make divine. Supramental transformation is not a selfish achievement. If you have done, all spiritual masters have done this. You speak of Shankaracharya, speak of Ramanuja, speak of Sri Aurobindo. They have developed, they have been transformed, they have become great yogis, great sannyasi, great seers, but they have descended down to the jagat, the world of common people, to help them transcend, to help them transform. If you live that life can be called divine life, otherwise not. So the time is very short, so I have to stop here. What I said today, that man is misunderstood as having a body and a mind. Therefore, Western philosophers have concluded that man cannot know the reality. But Indian philosophers have tried and have experienced, especially Sri Aurobindo has experienced that we possess not a common mind, we possess a mind equal to truth, equal to Satchidananda, equal to supermind. Our mind is co-extensive with reality. Our mind is an integral mind. Therefore, take the best use of human mind. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. So, Kalyani ma'am, Hello? Hello? Uh, Kalyani ma'am will continue.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir, for your mesmerizing and illuminating speech on the concept of mind from Aurobindo's point of view. Really, you took us to a state of poise while explaining away the different levels of mind. And in your deliberation, you made a very clear-cut distinction between Aurobindo and Kant. That is also very praiseworthy, no doubt about it. And you also mentioned, repeatedly you mentioned about the dynamism of mind from a lower mind, how you develop into a super mind. So you conclude with your speech that be divine and make divine. So with this, because of the paucity of time, I request our moderator of today's webinar program, Sri Devashish Sarangi, Assistant Professor of Philosophy, LN Mahavidyalaya, Baleshwar, to kindly moderate the question and answer sessions and to offer a formal vote of thanks to Pramod Kumar Das sir. Over to Devashish sir.
Thank you, ma'am, and good evening to all. Namaskar, sir. So, sir, there are a few questions in the chat box. So, hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Kausik J now wants to know, is Sat Chit Anand included in mind?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Everything includes everything. Even matter includes Sachidananda. What is about mind? Even matter includes Sachidananda. Everything includes everything. Nothing is, there is no the other. That is the beauty of integralism. Next question.
Next question is from Asak Khatai. He wants to know, so rationality is not the differential in the definition of the term man. I can understand.
Rationality
Is not the differential in the definition of the term man.
No, Aristotle defined that every man is a rational animal, and rationality has been taken as the differentia. So far as our convention is concerned, we do not agree. Honestly, Aurobindo does not agree to it. Aurobindo says that our mind should be free from should be free from empirical and rational compulsions, restrictions. Yeah. There should not be any restriction of empiricality and rationality. Mind should go beyond that. What Kant said, that mind functions through the categories of understanding. That is not the status of mind. I agree with his statement that man should not be defined as a rational animal. Man is better than that. Man is Sachidananda. Aham Brahmasmi. Man is Sachidananda. Man is not rational. Rationality is the function of a mind. I am the super mind. Claim so, be so, prove so, and do so. Seipari huo, seipari kara, seipari anya manuku banao. That is divine life. I don't think that I am rational. I told you that animals are sometimes found more rational than human beings, because how can my dog understands me? My dog does not my dog does not read any book, does not know language. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Then the next question is from Rao, sir. He wants to know, can the divine life in Sri Aurobindo's philosophy be compared with bodhisattvahood in Buddhism?
Maybe. Bodhisattva means the life of enlightenment, life of wisdom, but it is far better than Sri Aurobindo has explained the status of consciousness in such a way there is no parallel. Sri Aurobindo is claiming that the status of a mind, suppose you reach at a point that is only ignorance, still you have to evolve. And you see, we are all ignorant of tomorrow. I say that I am a great scientist, but I am ignorant of tomorrow. I am ignorant of the next moment. I do not know what will happen next moment. So if there is any limitation of thinking, if you belong to a ladder of consciousness, then whatever may be the status of your mind, you are ignorant. Suppose you are free from ignorance, you become a Gnostic being, you become a Bodhisattva, you become Buddha, but that is not the final stage of perfection according to Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo's.
Yes, sir. Ramakant sir, namaskar, sir. Yes, sir.
Devashish Babu,
Sir, namaskar, sir. Sir, kuhuntu, sir.
नाम कहूची अछि मोर
Again?
गोटे पचार अछि तो
What question pacharanu?
Hello.
Sir, you are audible.
I am very much grateful to Professor Das for the clear presentation of the topic, philosophy of Buddhism. I have some clarification. Get some clarification regarding some points. At the beginning of your speech, you said, who will understand the philosophy of Aurobindo? A common man cannot understand the philosophy, but it is for the man. You said like this. On this point, the followers of Sri Aurobindo asked the mother, Sri Ma, in the answer of which Sri Ma said, please read and philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. Do not try to understand, but try to realize. I can give an example here. Between Ramakrishna Paramahansa and Vivekananda, we know that Ramakrishna was the guru of Swami Vivekananda. He was unpad, but Vivekananda was graduated in that age, in the 19th century. He was asking question to Ramakrishna regarding the existence of God, world and man. It is possible. So to be a philosopher, to be a philosophy, or to be a philosopher, or to realize, or to philosophize, is there the necessity of reading, doing MA in philosophy, PhD in philosophy, and MPhil in philosophy? Is there any necessity of it? When Sri Aurobindo said, on the development of consciousness, we can reach the truth. This is one point. Second one is, what is psychic entity according to Sri Aurobindo? And the third one is, can a limited mind be able to create things of science and technology? Jadi आमे नमूना भितर को प्रवेश कर परिबा नाही हमर वर्तमान रो माइंड को धरि किरी आमको जितेबाला श्रीअरविंदଙ୍କ भाषाରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଏକ୍ସେଲ କରିବା ମାଇଣ୍ଡରୁ ଆହୁରି ଆଗକୁ ଯିବା ଆସେଣ୍ଡ କରିବା ସେତେବେଳେ ଯାଇକି ତାର ଦର୍ଶନ ପାଇବା ବା ଇଏ କରିବା ଗୋଟେ ସାଧାରଣ ମଣିଷ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଯୋଉ ଲୋକ ଯାଇକି ମଙ୍ଗଳ ଗ୍ରହରେ ଉପନୀତ ହେଲେଣି ମହାକାଶରେ ଯାଇକି ରହୁଛନ୍ତି ଆମେ ଯେମିତି ଭାତ ଡାଲି ତରକାରୀ ଖାଇବାଟା ଗୋଟେ ବଞ୍ଚିବାର ନେସେସିଟି ବୋଲି ଭାବୁଛୁ ସେମାନେ କଣ ସେହିପରି ଏକ ଚେତନାର ସ୍ତରରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି କି ନା ତାଠୁ ଏକ୍ସେଲ କରିଛନ୍ତି ତାପରେ ଆପଣ କହିଲେ ଶ୍ରୀଅରବିନ୍ଦଙ୍କ ଦୃଷ୍ଟିକୋଣରୁ କହିଲେ ଦେୟାର ଇଜ ହାୟର ମାଇଣ୍ଡ illumined mind, intuitive mind, over mind and super mind. But Sri Aurobindo has also discussed about the physical, vital and mental minds. These are my queries from you. Please.
Okay, thank you, sir. You asked 4 questions. I am answering one by one. First of all, what Sri Ma explained to her disciples that by your understanding mind, you cannot understand the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo.
Yes.
By your realizing mind, you can understand the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo, and exactly I had said that. We have an understanding mind, we understand too much, then we become harassed in confusion. But in order to understand the higher reality, we should have a realizing mind. Okay, so what Sri Ma said to her disciples, exactly I said that. Number 1. Number 2, you spoke of the what is the psychic mind? Yes, the psychic mind is one which is conditioned by psychic conditions, which is conditioned by the psychic conditions, not by spiritual conditions. Psychic conditions means he will ask questions, it will seek clarification, it will try to understand, it will have a subject predicate dichotomy. All these are psychic, because beyond the psychic comes mind, then higher mind, etc., etc., etc. Then you asked the third question. The scientists and others, they create many things. How can they create with a limited mind? What I had told you, that this mind means the mind that we possess is capable of doing philosophy, best philosophy, best science, best technology, but still it fails to understand the dynamics of mind itself. So it is very easy to go to moon or Mars. It is very easy to create science, but it is very difficult to understand the mind itself. Self-realization is very difficult. And in the your fourth question was
Illumined, intuitive, over mind, super mind is there.
Physical vital mind. That mind we possess. We have that mind. We manage with that mind. But that mind is not enough. We should have a higher mind, then illuminate. This is a process. And I had told a very beautiful thing, that in order to understand the cosmic play, in order to understand the ascent and descent process in the cosmos, we can at least observe how our mind descends into the lower hemispheres in our practical life. From that, we can be able to discipline our mind, to make our mind transformed from a lower status to the higher status. It needs by reading news, by reading Sri Aurobindo, by doing Patachakra for 50 years, 100 years, nothing will do. Patachakra will not help if the persons who are sitting in Patachakra do not have a realizing mind. By reading Sri Aurobindo, no one can understand Sri Aurobindo. We have to contemplate. We have to contemplate upon. We have to realize the truth. And the truth that is available with us, the truth that surrounds our existence. Not that we shall borrow truths from heaven. The truth of our practical life. We shall start our journey from that. So I answered all your 4 questions. If you have a 5th question, you may ask.
One thing I want to be clear, you spoke on the psychic mind, psychic entity. This psychic entity, is it a part of mind or it is a part of spirituality? The soul, spirit.
Everything is the part of spirituality. Nothing is out of spirituality. You cannot speak anything without spirituality. If you speak, then you are not speaking of intellectualism. We are transforming from one function to another function. Psychic function to spiritual function. But we can transform only because the spirituality is already in the psychic entity. Otherwise, we can't transform. No, you are not audible.
Psychic is the link between, it's a bridge between the higher hemisphere and the lower hemisphere. That I want to say.
I could not hear you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. So, though there are 1 or 2 questions in the chat box, so it's now going to about 7:30. So we have second speaker there to speak.
Okay.
So thank you very much, sir. Thank you for
Thank you, Debashis. Thank you, Kalyani Madam. Thank you, Ramakanta sir. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So, Kalyani ma'am, we should proceed now to the second session.
Thank you, Devastis sir. So for the second session, we have the speaker with us, and he is not other than Dr. Kailash Chandra Maharana sir. We know him mostly as the chief coordinator of the entire webinar program of Philosophy Family. But he is going to address us on the topic that is integralism from Sri Aurobindo's point of view again. And I am privileged to introduce Dr. Kailash Chandra Maharana sir. So he has a brilliant academic career. He is awarded with PhD in the year 2009 under the able guidance of Professor Ganeshwar Das. Besides academics, he has a consuming passion for social work. He is awarded with the state-based NSS Coordinator Award in the year 2015. He has also a special interest in writing short stories in Odia language and published couple of books to his credit. And the learned audience will be surprised to know that not only he, his whole family, I mean Madam Maharana and his only son, both have the interest in writing, and Madam has many books to her credit that is published. And Kailash Chandra Maharana sir, polite and polished behavior, optimistic attitude and clarity of the subject no doubt make him a friendly teacher among the students, and presently he is working as the head of the department Baluga College, Khorda, Odisha, and he is going to address us on the topic that is integral yoga of Sri Aurobindo. So now I request Kailash Chandra, Dr. Kailash Chandra Maharana sir to address our learned audience. Over to Kailash Chandra Maharana sir, please. Hello.
Hello, hello,
Over to Kailash sir.
hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible. Yes, sir.
Thanks,
You are audible.
thanks so much, Dr. Kalyani Sarangi, for your nice words of introduction. And at the outset, I must welcome all our senior professors of philosophy, teachers of philosophy, students, and lovers of wisdom for participating and viewing this webinar series. And today is the last day of listening the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. And of, for this, first of all, I offer my deep sense of gratitude at the lotus feet of Sri Aurobindo and the Divine Mother before I utter something on integral yoga. Because I have been assigned with the concept of integral yoga so far as the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo is concerned. Friends, we all have listened 4 lectures on the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo so far. In the past lecture, we got the we listened the speech of Professor Patita Padandas on the topic evolution and involution. And in the second lecture, we listened to Dr. Janmeja Dibedi, who spoke on the theme, the concept of world, Maya, and reality. In the third lecture, we listened to Professor Ramakanta Nanda on the concept of Sachidananda. And today, in the first session, Professor Pramod Kumar Das spoke very brilliantly on the concept of mind uh, in connection with the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. And I enjoyed the entire session when Professor Pramod Das was speaking very clearly on different levels of mind, the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. And you know, the all the 4 lectures, okay, they center around the interior yoga of Sri Aurobindo. The entire philosophy of Sri Aurobindo is called integralism or integral yoga, or said to say Purna yoga, or some scholars may consider it as Samagra yoga. Anyway, friends, it is very difficult in my part to reflect upon the Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga within a short span of time, because in order to discuss and reflect upon the integral yoga of Sri Aurobindo, it takes much time. Everything comes under the topic integral yoga of Sri Aurobindo. And in the book Synthesis of Yoga, Sri Aurobindo writes, yoga is after all primarily a change of inner consciousness. Friends, we all have a little knowledge on different kinds of yogas in Indian tradition, where yoga is defined as union with divine. It is an ordinary understanding of yoga that it is union with divine. It is a joining of the limited human with the infinite divine consciousness. It is the ascent of man to a spiritual status. We and and uh, when we discuss the integral yoga of Sri Aurobindo, it is somehow different from other yogas. And today, I would like to discuss, I would like to reflect upon only the integral yoga of Sri Aurobindo and how it is different from other yogas. Because in order to discuss the entire scope of integral yoga of Sri Aurobindo, it is not possible within a short span of time. And we the human beings live in the ignorance and don't aware of our inner self, which is an integral portion of the divine. It is all about the ordinary understanding of yoga. But for Sri Aurobindo, yoga has a wider significance. For him, yoga means a complete understanding. Yoga is perfection. For him, yoga is complete with the divine soul, or as well as the nature. And he says that the integral yoga is a yoga of transformation. And this yoga is possible by transforming the entire being into an image of divine. How it is possible? This is the complete union with the divine. This complete union is an integral union in all elements of our being. How it is possible to bring the transformation in all the elements of our being? What are there are the elements of our being? It's the aim of Sri Aurobindo's yoga. It is the change of inner life and outer life. Sri Aurobindo has given importance to all the aspects of life. He has given emphasis on inner life and outer life. He wants to transform them. He wants to make them divine. And particularly, he says that the soul, mind, sense, heart, will, life, and body, everything has to be transformed. Everything has to be changed. Everything has to be divinized. The change or the transformation continues till they are fit to manifest the divine consciousness. All the parts, you may call soul, mind, sense, heart, will, life, body, everything has to be transformed. And they has to be transformed, okay, until they are fit to manifest divine consciousness and become part of divine work. The true progress of life consists in, as Sri Aurobindo says so, in molding or transforming the ordinary limitation to higher status of existence. We have to transform because he has given importance to matter. Matter has to be transformed. Every cell of the body has to be transformed. For Sri Aurobindo, integral yoga is a progressive manifestation, and it wants to develop fully all our latent divine possibilities. All the possibilities of our life should be divinized, should be transformed. Sri Aurobindo rightly mentions that all life, all life is yoga in nature. All life is yoga in nature. The goal of yoga, he has mentioned, that is a perfect expression of divine in every plane of existence. It needs more and harmonized development of the inner self and the outer self. He has given equal importance to inner nature and outer nature, inner self and outer, that is outer self, for a divine living. For a divine living, everything is necessary. Outer life, inner life, then our outer self, inner self, both are important. The ultimate aim of man is to be a liberated spirit, as he says, and a divine man possessing a divine nature. So, the object of his yoga is man has to come to his home. Man was divine, and now he is ignorant, he has to be divinized. He has to be transformed. He has to come to his own home. There are different systems of yoga in Indian tradition, in Vedic system. Okay, like you may utter the karma yoga, the bhakti yoga, the raja yoga, the hatha yoga, or but what is proposed by Sri Aurobindo is to bring about the synthesis not only of the few but all systems of yoga. Sri Aurobindo has tried to bring a synthesis of all systems of yoga, the total and integral change of the the total change or transformation of the the consciousness, and he also wants to change or transform the nature. So he has given importance to the transformation of consciousness and transformation of the nature. Then we have to now discuss what he means by integralism, what he means by integral yoga, and how the integral yoga, as propounded by Sri Aurobindo, is different distinctly from other yogas we have discussed. It is said that Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga, a yoga of synthesis, we have discussed now, because it has assimilated and it has assimilated all the principles of all the yogas. It has assimilated the principles and practices of many previous yogas. Out of them, it has developed a new system for spiritual fulfillment. That new system is integral yoga. Integral yoga of Sri Aurobindo is a new interpretation of yoga. And Sri Aurobindo has rightly said that all the old yogas use one power, a group of powers of the being for union with one aspect of the divine. You may discuss different kinds of yogas in Indian tradition. They have some limitations. They deal with some aspects of divine. But when we have to reflect upon the Punda Yoga or integral yoga of Sri Aurobindo, we can know that it is it is very distinct from other yogas. Purna Yoga seeks integral union in all divine aspects and through every part of human nature. Again, none of the past yogas accepted by Indian thinkers, they have discussed they have not discussed the transformation of life and nature. And only Sri Aurobindo has discussed the transformation of life and the transformation of nature in his integral yoga. And you know, transformation of life and transformation of nature is the ultimate aim of yoga, as Sri Aurobindo says. Mother has also given importance to the transformation of life and transformation of the nature. The yogins of past yogos, they wanted to obtain inner freedom and wealth of the spirit by escape from the world. For them, world is an illusion, or they have an indifference to the activities of life. But integral yoga aims at the perfection, and perfection of all beings. And these perfection must spiritualize. They must be spiritualized. And Sri Aurobindo wants to spiritualize both the inner life and outer life of human beings. And unless and until The inner life and outer life have to be perfect, have to be spiritualized, have to be divinized. Purna Yoga is not complete. It cannot be called as integral yoga or Purna Yoga. And Purna Yoga combines all powers and processes of yoga for attaining the greater object of transformation of human life. You know, uh, integral yoga integrates and synthesizes many systems in a new supreme fulfillment. And Mother has written in her book. Let us now reflect upon the nature of some old yogas. I have discussed now. Now I would like to discuss upon the nature of some old yogas. I have a little knowledge about the study and understanding of different yogas. Still, then I can say that Hatha Yoga attempts to divinize the body by making use of the body and the life as a means of union. Hatha Yoga seeks to remove the imperfection of the body. The Hatha Yogi perhaps is occupied with Suddhi and Siddhi. Hence, I don't want to depict a complete nature of Hatha Yoga and its nature. In Patanjali, uh, uh, there is the mention of pranayama. There the emphasis is given on pranayama or breath control. It gives a complete control over the life power in the body. It purifies nervous system and gives vital energy. All the powers of life and body is purified and concentrated by the combined process of asana and pranayama. But Sri Aurobindo has has never given emphasis on asana and pranayama in order to get in order to have a spiritualized life or divinized life. Raja Yoga aims at liberation and perfection of the mental being. It also adopts practice of asana and pranayama. The object of this yoga is union with the highest by silencing the function of mind and sinking in samadhi. You know it better. And when we come to the story of the yoga in Bhagavad Gita, we can know Bhagavad Gita adopts triple way or trimarga to get spiritual knowledge and to have one's yoga. That is knowledge, jnana yoga, devotion. If we give emphasis on devotion, it is called bhakti yoga. And another marga is work or action or karma yoga, Bhagavad Gita, for a divine oneness. One can have the divine oneness. One can have union with the divine by any way, that is by means of jnana yoga or by means of bhakti yoga or by means of karma yoga. These three are the three supports of integral yogas. Sri Aurobindo has never rejected the three margas. Okay, that is in the path of integral yoga. Sri Aurobindo said that the three are the three supports of integral yoga, but they are not identical in comparison to Gita, the Bhagavad Gita. The Gita is indifferent to the mental, vital, and bodily perfection and only seeks for the purity of nature. But Purna Yoga, on the other hand, has assimilated many truth and experiences of mantra. Sri Aurobindo says that our yoga is integral and its method is integral. Yoga is integral and method is integral. The aim of this yoga is a turning of all the being in all its parts towards the divine. You can see the aim of integral yoga is a turning of all the beings in all its parts towards the divine. So it is a yoga of all inclusive system. Professor Pramod Kumar Das has also emphasized how it is all inclusive system in the that is so far as the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo is concerned. Let us give a clear picture and nature of integral yoga in comparison to traditional yoga in a nutshell. First, the integral yoga seeks to incorporate the essence and process of all the old yogas. It never rejects any yoga, but it blends their methods and puts to one system. It has synthesized all the principles, all the process of old yoga in one system. So it is called integral yoga. Secondly, it is a total dedication and surrender of the aspirant and his being to the supreme being with all his aspiration, power, and faculties. The total dedication, full dedication, integral dedication. Then, Sri Aurobindo's yoga is integral from another point of view. It is integral because it seeks an integral and total change of consciousness and nature. Total change of consciousness and nature. It is for all humanity and the entire cosmos. So it is called Purna Yoga or integral yoga. Then, if we come to the purpose of yoga, of integral yoga, then we can see that its purpose is to divinize the body, life, mind, and soul. So, no advocates of old yogas have given equal emphasis on every being or every part of our that is our being. Sri Aurobindo for the first time has given emphasis on body, life, mind, and the entire being. And Sri Aurobindo wants that they have to be transformed. They have to be spiritualized. They have to be divinized. And they have to be transferred by descending the supramental force. And uh, Professor Pramod Kumar Das has already discussed that is the supermind, the supramental force. Okay, in his discussion recently. Now, Sri Aurobindo's yoga is integral in the sense that there is no dichotomy between the spirit and matter. For him, matter is real, spirit is also real, and matter can ascend to spirit, and spirit can descend to the matter. And you have already listened the speech of Professor Patitavan Das in his talk evolution and involution. Then we have to discuss the another specific nature of integral yoga. The integral yoga discards nothing and accepts everything. This is the uniqueness of Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga. Integral yoga discards nothing and accepts everything. It accepts the different principles and processes of all yogas and discards nothing, but in a unique way. Everything means in every atom, every being is an eternal march towards spiritual evolution. And we have to discuss another aspect how Sri Aurobindo Yoga is new, and Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga is a new interpretation of the elements of traditional yogas. If we study the synthesis yoga of Sri Aurobindo, then we can very well know that how Sri Aurobindo has given new interpretation of yoga and how it is different from other yogas. And nobody before Sri Aurobindo has given the such new interpretation. Sri Aurobindo said that I have never said that my yoga is something brand new. Sri Aurobindo has said that I am not telling that my yoga, that is integral yoga, is something new, so completely new, brand new in all its elements, because he has already declared that his yoga, the yoga of synthesis, it has assimilated everything. It rejects nothing but accept everything. And Sri Aurobindo said that I have called it integral yoga because it takes up the essence and many processes of the old yogas. Its newness is its aim. Its newness is its aim. And what are the other newness? The newness lies in its aim. Newness lies in the standpoint. Newness lies in the totality of its method. Integral method. Integral yoga in integral method. Everything new. And we can see that the traditional yoga system is based on its vision, which aims at the release of soul from matter. Almost all the yogas say that the aim of yoga is to free the soul from matter, release of soul from matter. In these yogas, the final goal is liberation. Other yogas has given the importance to liberation. The final goal is liberation. But Sri Aurobindo said that liberation comes in the way. It is the ascent of a source, the ascent of a source of spiritual height. It aims at freeing the soul from matter, other yogas. But the aim of integral yoga is not liberation. Liberation comes in its way. But the aim of integral yoga is a transformation, the total transformation. It is a total transformation of earthly life into life divine. A divine fulfillment, even in the material, is the real object of integral yoga. Sri Aurobindo has given the matter or the material, the real object of integral yoga, and it must be divinized. It must be spiritualized, and the spirit lies in the matter. Divine lies in the matter. Again, integral yoga does not seek individual salvation. Other yogas have given importance to individual salvation or individual liberation, but was for a cosmic salvation. Integral yoga was for cosmic salvation. Samahika yoga, collective meditation, collective liberation, which was for the divinization of the whole mankind and universe. So Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga is not confined, is not aiming at the individual liberation, but aims at the liberation of the mankind and the universe. And even the physical universe can feel the thrill of the divine. Sri Aurobindo has said in his language that even the physical universe can feel the thrill of the divine. Sri Aurobindo declares that the integral yoga should be for all humanities. It is not for particular humanity, for particular sect, but for all humanities. Unlike the traditional yoga, the integral yoga does not suppress the lower form of consciousness. In other yogas, we have seen how they want to suppress the lower form of consciousness. Sri Aurobindo has not wanted that. For him, true yoga is that which touches and transforms not only the higher form but also whole of our being. It means the spiritual being, the mental being, the vital being, and the physical being all have to transform. And it is called a complete or total transformation. Then we have to discuss what will be there if there is no transformation. In the absence of total transformation, yoga becomes incomplete. Sri Aurobindo said that if there is not if total transformation is not made, not possible, then yoga becomes incomplete. Now, how difficult is Sri Aurobindo see yoga, intel yoga? You can realize. To realize the ultimate goal of yogin, then we can say that we have to realize the ultimate goal, that is where in every part, in every being. It means we have to realize it in the realm of body, the realm of life and mind. The goal of existence will not be achieved by separation of various aspects of reality, but by their ultimate harmonious union. And how this ultimate harmonious union is possible in Sri Aurobindo's yogas? Sri Aurobindo says that it's possible. It is possible through the descent of divine on earth. We have already discussed the ascent and descent processes of intel yoga. It is possible through the descent of the divine on earth. If we study traditional yoga system, we can observe that the ancient form of yoga stress the renunciation of life, to go away from home and to reside in the jungle and to do tapasya. And they have renounced their life to reach the divine. And they have rejected matter in order to get spirit. So in most yogas you can see there is a neglect, no emphasis has been given to matter or to material being, what Sri Aurobindo has given. For them, earth was considered to be a source of bondage or an illusion. The body was said to be a hindrance to the attainment of the divine. Therefore, they are to be discarded for the final liberation. The preponderance of other yogas have not given emphasis to the matter and the body. But Sri Aurobindo, in his intel yoga, opted for a world affirming yoga. It established a great heritage of India. And if we study the cultural heritage of our country, we can see how the soul of India wants the total transformation, the total liberation of humanity. The intel yoga developed by Sri Aurobindo grants positive value to the matter and to the phenomenal world, which is absent in other yogas. It is said to be a manifestation of the divine. It's the divine spirit that is active in every fiber of material being. Hence, Sri Aurobindo's yoga upholds the matter and spirit. It has given same status, equal status, both to matter and spirit. His Purna Yoga was meant for transforming the natural man to the divine being. The nature has to be divinized. The natural man has to reach at the spiritual height. And therefore, yoga prepares the ground for the dawn of divinity by means of evolution and involution, the double process. Sri Aurobindo rightly says that when the supramental light descends, it may find the soil to receive it. Then we can see the how nobility of Sri Aurobindo's intellectual yoga has. And it is commonly understood that the aim of yoga is to realize the mukti or liberation, as I have already told, that the aim of the traditional yogas is to realize mukti or liberation by rising above the limitation of the body, life, and mind, and then to realize the spiritual attainment. But Sri Aurobindo goes beyond this ordinary understanding. For him, the aim of intellectual yoga is not simply the attainment of mukti or liberation, but an active participation in the creative joy of divine and divinization of the empirical world and the whole embodied life. When somebody asks Sri Aurobindo regarding the nature of intellectual yoga, Sri Aurobindo says that yoga means union with the divine, or union with the transcendental, or union with the cosmic, or union, etc. But Sri Aurobindo also said that in our yoga, all three are together. It means union with the divine, union with cosmic, and union with the individual. ବ୍ୟକ୍ତିଗତ ରୂପାନ୍ତର, ବିଶ୍ୱଗତ ରୂପାନ୍ତର ଏବଂ ବିଶ୍ୱାତୀତ ରୂପାନ୍ତର. Sri Aurobindo shows different means of intellectual yoga for attaining union with the divine. We know that Sri Aurobindo's yoga does not emphasize much on the breathing or yogic posture as in Hatha Yoga, Raja Yoga, or Patanjali Yoga. That is, those are very popular in the present, in the contemporary world, in the contemporary Indian system. But Sri Aurobindo's system is to be free from the rigid religious rites and observance. Sri Aurobindo does not want that yoga must be rigorous. Yoga must be very hard, or it is religious. Sri Aurobindo wants that yoga must be free from, his yoga system must be free from the common ritualistic system, and it should not be rigid. So what Sri Aurobindo suggests in his yoga is that it is not merely the perfection of man which is attainable in samadhi, but the transformation of man into divine. It is possible through the involution of divine into man. The aim of man, is to realize the descent of supramental consciousness. Sri Aurobindo said that the aim of my yoga is to realize the descent of the supramental consciousness. When the supramental consciousness descends, then only man attains total perfection or total transformation. And hence, intellectual yoga for him is a means for total transformation. I don't want to discuss the detail of evolution and involution as it is already discussed. Sri Aurobindo inspires man to go ahead and proceed further, to attain the spiritual height in every sphere, in every action, because action has been given emphasis in Sri Aurobindo's yoga. Sri Aurobindo inspires man to go ahead and to attain spiritual height, and he also said that man must receive the supramental consciousness. Intel logo is a means for building man's union with the absolute, but it also builds the divinized supermanhood on the earth, which has not been exhibited by any system of yoga. Then Sri Aurobindo says that when man becomes Superman, when supermanhood is established on this earth, then the man is transformed into a new personality from ordinary mental being, and he is transformed to the supramental, where there is complete harmony of Sat Chit Ananda. The day when Professor Makatananda was discussing the concept of Sachitananda, that is, we understand how clearly he was explaining the harmony of Sachitananda. That is, thus, intellectual yoga transforms a man into a divinized being by purifying his entire being. Because of the constraint of time,
Uh,
okay,
uh, yes, sir.
okay, I would
Yes,
like
sir.
to
Uh, very
okay,
mindful.
make it brief because I have no
Conclude.
time. Intel logo is also a means for complete self-relation. It is an inter-transformation of mind, I have already told. It is a divine instrument that is in the supramental transformation of humanity, and this life becomes a divine instrument when our being, when we get purified, then the life becomes divine's instrument. As we have already mentioned, Sri Aurobindo's yoga is a preparation for transformation of all our nature of life. Its object is not only to reach the mind and vital, to transform mind and vital, but to transform every cell of the material body. ପ୍ରତିଟି କୋଷାଣୁ ରୂପାନ୍ତରିତ ହେବ. It leads to the change and transformation of the entire nature, Punna Rupantara, that as is envisaged by Babaji Maharaj or Ramakrishna Das in Sri Aurobindo Ashram. He called it Rupantara Yoga, that is yoga of transformation. But how this complete transformation is possible? Let me 2 or 3 minutes to conclude it. There is a fundamental basis of this transformation. Sri Aurobindo says that one should be able to keep deep peace, wideness, strength, and purity, power, and potentiality from mind to every material cell. The transformation will that is only possible from the external life to the inner life, and by applying higher consciousness. And then only the smallest deed, smallest action may be an expression of divine truth. Whatever you do, whatever actions that you may undertake, it must be divinized. It must have the reflection of the divinity. Then we can see is the truth, the light, and the power, the bliss, and the harmony of the divine. And your logo demands that transformation. And due to constraint of time, okay, I have to conclude it. Sri Aurobindo's, Sri Aurobindo's has given the form of triple transformation, as already told by Pramod. It is called triple transformation. Firstly, the psychic change. The psychic change is made direct upon direct action, that is of the inmost psychic being. Secondly, spiritual change by descent of a higher consciousness from upper plane, which is called spiritualization. Thirdly, the supramental change by the transforming action of supermind, which is the creative power of the divine. It is the source of light, peace, power, knowledge and delight. It will convert. It will transform the lower human consciousness into higher consciousness. The highest principle of supermind alone has the power of bringing about the radical transformation, which is the object of interior logo of Sri Aurobindo. Due to constant time, I have to limit and I have to conclude here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. So, Kalyani ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Kailash Chandra Maharana sir, for your lucid and brilliant talk on the topic that is Purna Yoga or integral yoga of Sri Aurobindo. And in your deliberation, very beautifully, you mentioned that man was divine, but he is ignorant and he has to be divinized. And you, in your deliberation, you make a very sharp comparison between the different types of yoga and how the integral yoga or integralism of Sri Aurobindo is inclusiveness, which includes everything and discards nothing. And through the very uniqueness of your deliberation is that you take into account all the previous resource persons into your speech, and you about the Ramakanta Nanda sir's concept of Sachidananda, and Patita Pavan sir's the process of ascent and descent, and you just include them, and along with them you move forward, and very beautifully you conclude that how through triple transformation and how the integralism of Sri Aurobindo not only aims for the human liberation, even it aims for the highest yoga, which is all inclusive and which is meant for the entire being, not only for the humanity. It is inclusive in this sense that it includes the entire being into account. So very beautifully explained, very nicely, and very clearly you mentioned how through the process we can enter into the higher hemisphere, we can enter into the higher level of consciousness. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your very lucid and clear-cut deliberation on the topic that is integral eco. And because of the paucity of time, I know you want to talk more, and because of the paucity of time, you have to cut it short. So here I want to request Debashish Sarangi sir to kindly moderate the question answer session of the second session, and offer a formal vote of thanks, of course, to Dr. Kailash Chandra Maharana sir. Over to Debashish Sarangi. Over to Debashish sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. Hello, Ramakant sir. ଆପଣ କିଛି କହିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି?
I want to ask some question and clarification.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Am I permitted?
Yes, sir. You are permitted.
Sri Aurobindo has started his sadhana from the saying that all is God and God is one, and God is all. But to lead the life of a common man through the birth, growth, and decay and death, without knowing the goal of our life. But we have been given our life to become divine, as Professor Maharana was telling. And Professor Maharana, I must thank you for your brilliant exposition of the integral yoga. Sri Aurobindo has said that, as you have mentioned in your discussion, there is no necessity of asana and pranayama as Hatha Yoga has elaborated. The sole aim of Sri Aurobindo is to become divine. Man has to be divinized. The physical body is to get back to the level of Sat, because from Sat, the Sharira has come, but it has become Asat. Man is dying, a physical death. And from the Chit, the mind has been involuted, and it has to attain the level of Chit, consciousness, and the vital being comes from Ananda, and it has to reach this stage of Ananda. And this is all is needed to fulfill the aspiration of Satchidananda. Sri Aurobindo said, matter shall reveal the spirit's face. And he has also said that even the body shall remember God. ମୁଁ ଏଠି ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରଶ୍ନ ପଚାରିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛି, ଯଦି ଆମେ ଆଜି ହଉ କି କାଲି ହଉ କି 10 ବର୍ଷ ପରେ ହଉ କି 20 ବର୍ଷ ପରେ ହଉ, ଯଦି ଆମେ ଭଗବାନ ହେଇଯିବା, if we all become divine, we will be divinized, then who will take care of our wife, children, and our social persons, and our chakiri, etc.? This is the first question. And the second question is that, what is the method that Sri Aurobindo adopted to be divinized? Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks so much for your supplements and discussion and the conclusion of Sri Aurobindo Sugars. But actually, to the question of that is for your first question, I can say that the divine must take care of all your beings. Okay, because when everything is divinized, then divine has to take care of everything, because he's not a being, he's not a matter, he's not a that is not a soul, etc. So only divine will take the care of all your beings if they are in that position. But again, that is what the question of sons and daughter. If man is divinized, then where is the question of sons, daughter, and etc. Everything has to be divinized. Even matter is divinized. Then there is no question of house, no question of son, no question of daughter, no question of everything. So this is my summary, sir.
ନାଇଁ ଏଠି କଥା କହୁଛି କଣ କି,
ମ୍ୟାନ୍ ଯଦି ଡିଭିନାଇଜ୍ ହେଇଯିବ ତେବେ ତାର କଣ ସନ୍ ଆଉ ସନ୍ ଡଟର ଘର ଦ୍ୱାର କଣ ଆଉ ହବ?
ନାଇଁ ସେଇଟା ଡିଭିନାଇଜ୍ ଟା ପରେ ହବ ନା, ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଷ୍ଟେଜରେ ଆମର ସନ୍ ଡଟର କଣ କରିବେ?
ଆମେ ଯଦି
ମୁଁ ଏଡେ ବଡ ଲୋକ ହେଇଛି, ଏତେ
ଆମେ ଯଦି ଡିଭିନାଇଜ୍ ହେଇଯିବା, ଦେନ୍ ଆମର କଣ ମୋହ ରହିବ? ଆମର କଣ ତାଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ଇଏ ରହିବ, ଆକାଂକ୍ଷା ରହିବ?
ଆରେ ବାପା ସିନା ହବ, ଏବେ କଣ କରିବା? ଆଚ୍ଛା, ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ତାର ଉତ୍ତର ମା ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି, ସେଇଟା ମୁଁ ଇନକ୍ଲୁଡ କରିଦଉଛି, କହିଦଉଛି ଯେ we have been given the life to fulfill a particular aim, that is to be divinized.
Yes.
And this can only be achieved. The method of achieving the goal is the change of attitude.
Change of, okay, very good, very good, very good answer, very good answer. The change of attitude.
ଟିକେ ଡେରି ହେଲାଣି, ଟିକେ ମୁଁ କହୁଛି ସର୍ଟ ଗୋଟେ ଷ୍ଟୋରି ହଉଛି ଯେ ରବିବାର ଦିନ ତ ସ୍କୁଲ ଛୁଟି ହୁଏ, ଥରେ ଜଣେ ମାୟା ତା ପୁଅକୁ ପଠେଇଲେ 10 ଟଙ୍କା ଦେଇକିରି ଯେ ତୁ ଯାହା ସାବୁନ ଆଣିବୁ, ମୁଁ ତ ପ୍ୟାଣ୍ଟ ସାର୍ଟ ସଫା କରିଦେବି, କାଲି ସ୍କୁଲକୁ ଯିବୁ। ପିଲା ଗଲା, ଯାଇକି ଇଡଲି ପୁରୀ ଖାଇଦେଇକି ପଳେଇ ଆସିଲା 10 ଟଙ୍କାର। ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଟାଇମ ଗଲା, ତାକୁ ପୁଣି 10 ଟଙ୍କା ଦେଲେ, ଏବଂ ସେ ଯାଇକିରି ଗୋଟେ କ୍ରିକେଟ ବଲ୍ ଆଣିଲା କିନ୍ତୁ ଗୋଲ ହାଜ୍ ଟୁ ବି ଆଚିଭ୍ଡ ମଦର ଯାହା ଆସ୍ପିରେସନ କରିଛି ଯେ ମୋ ପୁଅର ସାର୍ଟ ସଫା କରିଦେବି ତେଣୁ ତାକୁ ପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ସେ ଆଉ 10 ଟଙ୍କା ଦେଲା ଏବଂ ତାପରେ ସେ ଯାଇକିରି ଅନ୍ୟ ବାଟରେ ଖର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରିଦେଲା ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆମ ଅବସ୍ଥା ସେପରି ଯେ ଭଗବାନ ଆମକୁ ଯୋଉଥିପାଇଁ ପଠେଇଛନ୍ତି ଟୁ ବିକମ୍ ଡିଭାଇନ୍ that is the aspiration of the supreme soul. So in order to be a supreme soul, in order to be divinized, we have to maintain the proper attitude. We have to remember, we have to be conscious that we have been given our life to fulfill a proper objective or aim. So that attitude must be there when we are teaching in the college, when we are buying vegetable from the market, when we are doing business, when we are serving the college, when we are serving the society, when we are praying the God. That is the submission. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you. And if we visualize the entire system of yoga, entire system of Sri Aurobindo's entire yoga, we can find that the change of attitude, the basis of everything. It is the basis of in our day-to-day life, and it is also the basis of that is having a higher life in this present world. And thank you so much, sir, for your brilliant exposition, brilliant submission on the change of attitude and analyzing the conclusions here in the yoga. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. As I am seeing in the chat box, there is only one question that how Aurobindo's concept of yoga is different from Bhagavad Gita's or the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali Yoga Sutras concept of yoga. I think you have already told in your discussion. Yeah. If you want to say something, you can say. Otherwise, we will end here.
No. If there is a question, we can discuss, or if they are already answered, then we have to end our session here.
Thank you very much, sir, for your nice presentation and lucid explanation on the subject of integral yoga of Sri Aurobindo. Thank you very much for enlightening us. Thank you to all the audience who are with us. Thank you, coordinator, Ma'am Kalyani ma'am. Thanks to Pramod sir and all the coordinators of Philosophy Family. Thank you all and good night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Dr. Kalyani and Sri Devasis.
Thank you, Kailaswai. Thank you. Thank you, Pramod sir. Thank you.
Namaskar. Namaskar.